another Q&A segment on Home Truth Nigeria episode 15. It's been 2 weeks since we did the Q&A segment, so today I just want to go straight to the point and answer a few questions that I have. So a lady wrote, is there no good man in Nigeria? That's a shame. No, Nigerians are generally good people. We are very hospitable, fun, friendly, and I could also add God fearing. And one thing I can assure you that um, Nigerians are generally, nice people. And of course, that does not rule out the fact that you have a very high uh, chances of being scammed by a Nigerian. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of you are through desperation, meeting the wrong Nigerians. I've always said to you that most of the Nigerians you see on dating site, uh, I've always said is 90 or 80% are not there because they're looking for love. 20 or 10% are there looking for the right thing. But then the truth of the matter is that a lot of you Western ladies, you're always drawn to the negative guys who have no education, have nothing for themselves. I mean, these guys, they have nothing to lose. So what it is that they look for older Western women who would, in one turn or the other, give them a better life. So that's where they meet you guys. And because what they want from the very beginning is comfort, opportunity, and this basically translate to money. So they would always ask you for money. And that's why I've always said to you as a lady and to all ladies, if you want to date a Nigerian, please try dating men within your age bracket. If you don't date a Nigerian within your age bracket, he would think he is doing you a favor. And for that reason, he will want money from you. So we are generally very nice and good people. You can ask women in the Western world who are married or are married to Nigerians or have a family with Nigerians. They will tell you the same thing. So, a second question is, please, can you convince me why I should visit Nigeria? I am really scared.
Finally, I'm going to a country that many people know for the wrong reasons. Because when you mention it, people think about scams.
A lot of scammers.
But I flew here and I want to show you a different side of this country.
Welcome to Nigeria.
Every time when you talk about Nigeria, people think about this, and this. But when I landed in Lagos, I saw things from a different perspective. I saw technology companies like Microsoft and Oracle. I saw busy malls, beautiful churches, and for a moment I couldn't believe that this was Nigeria that people told me about. In fact, they built a public transportation system that was efficient than that of many countries outside of Africa.
This train station is in the middle of Africa.
This was not Japan. This was Lagos. In the southern part of this country, I saw beautiful waterfalls, but the best part was the
Anyways, I hope that video played. So I hope the video answered your questions on why you should visit Nigeria. Listen, don't allow the media to discourage you or scare you on visiting Nigeria. Nigerians are not what the media portrays us to be. We have a very, very strong or negative rating when it comes to the media. People are trying to tell you not to visit Nigeria, but that is not what we represent. So please visit Nigeria if you want to. And when you visit, try to work on the prejudice you have against Nigeria, because a lot of people come into Nigeria and already their minds are made up on what Nigerians are all about. So you come in with this negative energy and you get exactly what you're expecting or anticipating for. So please visit Nigeria, okay? And then we can talk about your experience. Perhaps you could share it with us. Okay, another lady said, please talk about men that get into relationship with a woman and picture the perfect relationship as in a submissive woman. She's doing everything right, and then only to find out he's married. Please, thanks. So I'm not really sure what to say about this question because I'm trying to understand it. But then again, what I could make out of it and what I would say to that is, please like I've always said in all of my video, a Nigerian man you meeting for the very first time knows what he wants in a woman even before he approaches you. Every Nigerian man, most Nigerian men know what they want in a woman. So he doesn't just approach you and then he's confused on what he wants. No, most Nigerian men, they know what they want in a woman. So if you do not have what he wants, no matter how submissive you are, no matter how respectful you are, he's still gonna get what he wants. So that is to go get another lady or marry another lady. So just make sure before you go deep with any Nigerian man, make sure you are not with him because of his circumstances, because that is what is happening 80% of the time. 80% of the time, Western ladies are with Nigerian men because of the circumstances of the man. Or rather, the man is with you because of his circumstances. So his circumstances could be maybe you're to help him financially, or, you know, through you, he could get his visa and his stay. Now, again, I need to point out that there's nothing wrong if you meet a man who genuinely loves you and both of you get married and then he comes to your country, and by moving to your country he gets his citizenship, his permanent residency and all of that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be the priority. You should be the priority. The relationship should be the priority, meaning even if you decide not to live in your country and you want to come to Nigeria or any other country to live, it doesn't affect your relationship, you know. So have that at the back of your mind. I once told a lady to tell her guy who was pushing her to marry him so that you know he could come to the US. I once told her, I said, just tell him, look, I've had a change of mind. I want to relocate to Nigeria and be with you. And the next thing, the guy changed it for the lady. You know, he stopped being nice. So please, before you start playing the role of submission, respect, and all of this, blah blah blah, try to make sure that that man is not with you because of his circumstances. Okay, so and then you both can figure out how best you know you can sort things out. Because one mistake a lot of ladies meet is that they just like, okay, he's African, I know what he wants. He wants respect and submission. Let me give it to him so he's gonna love me. Look, you could do that. If he doesn't have any plans on you, he would drop you like an old shirt, you know, and move to the lady he ideally wants. So that's the truth. Now, a lady wrote this. She said, thanks again for a good video. Could I ask another question? I am planning to travel to Nigeria. Can you say something to vaccination? In parentheses, do not like them, but bus or taxi or private driver travel, food, medical emergencies, right water to buy, how to avoid diarrhea, how to behave around strangers, what to do, and the list goes on. So it's a very good question. I've decided to break these questions to answer them one by each. So the first one, she said, she wants to know about vaccination, bus or taxi, private driver, travel, food, medical emergency, and all of that. So, if you are required to get a vaccination because it's one of the requirements you need to fulfill before you get into Nigeria, please do it. Every one of us who leave Africa or Nigeria to travel overseas, we all comply with the rules that is set by your countries in the Western world. We don't try to find a way around it. So if they demand for you to do that, you have to do it. Do it before you travel so that you would avoid stories that touches the heart or complication as the case may be. Now, as a foreigner, you can always take a taxi outside the airport. The moment you land at the airport and you take your stuff and then you walk out of the airport, you will see taxis. Some of you who have already booked your flight and I've been speaking with you, I've always told you, please, when you are talking to the taxi, make sure you sound like you know where you're going. Don't act like a novice, like, oh, I really don't know where I'm going. Listen, if you act like a novice, the man would make a job out of you. And as I say, he could charge you times three of what is expected to charge you. And that is what can happen to anybody in any part of the world. It's not something that is just restricted to Africa. So that's one thing. And in talking about if you want to move around, I would tell you, please avoid going into the bus You can go into the bus, maybe if you're very familiar to the terrain or environment you're going to, then you can go, or you have somebody with you, then the person could just take you on adventure to see what's like to use a public transport system in Nigeria. But if you just want to be flexible, you don't want to go through the hustle and bustle of Lagos or Nigeria, then you could just get a taxi on Uber, and they'll be happy to come pick you up. In the case of emergency, we've got standard private hospitals, that can handle you. Maybe if you think you're falling sick, so the moment you notice you're falling sick, please, you could just make a call. If you're staying in a hotel, go to the reception, tell them to help you call a taxi on Uber to take you to a hospital, and they would be there for you. Now, as regards to avoiding diarrhea or any fecal oral contamination, I would always say, please get bottled water. Go to supermarket like ShopRite, get bottled water and have this with you. It's more filtered and processed than what we call pure water. So avoid the pure water, get bottled water, and then try to make sure you know what you are eating. Sometimes eating on the roadside, sometimes it's fun, but sometimes it's not fun because you don't know what this person has used in preparation of this food. Now, that's another thing she said is how to behave around strangers, what to do in emergency, health, robbery, etc. Do you have something like 911? Should I rent a car, or is it too difficult to drive there? So when you visit, please try to be very respectful. Do not treat anyone like, there's some piece of garbage. Don't try to make yourself feel so superior. There's something happening in Africa. In case those of you have not been following the news, is that a lot of African countries are waking up from oppression from colonial masters. So don't go there and try to feel like you are some queen or her royal majesty. Then you could have people who stand up to you. And Nigerians are brave people. We don't care who you are. We'll stand up and tell you who do you think you are. So don't do that, please, or you could have a backlash. Try to interact with the locals, speak to them, eat the food. Eating the food is part of our culture. It's also a way of you saying, hey, you accept the culture. The food may be a little bit too spicy for you, but don't worry. There's nothing that water wouldn't do when you take a spicy food. So try to engage on activities with them, most especially when you see maybe you visit your partner's family. Try to engage in activities with them. And I don't think you will be robbed if you don't expose yourself. So if you expose yourself, you might be robbed. It can happen in every part of the world. So nowhere you have to go to places that are safe, and you will be fine. And if for whatever reason you think someone is trailing you, please shout. Shout. When you shout, other Nigerians would come to you. Like I said to you, Nigerians are very, very friendly people. If you shout, other Nigerians will come to your defense. That I can assure you 100 times. As for emergency with your health, I believe you'll be fine. But if you are sick, please, like I said, if you're staying in a hotel, go to the reception, tell them to call a taxi for you, and they would take you to the hospital. And don't be scared about malaria, because the female anopheles, that is that's one of the causative agent for malaria. Plasmodium doesn't travel around with straw looking for who to get infected. So that is not the case. So just make sure you stay in a very good place, apartment, sanitized, clean, no stagnant water, and you cook your meal nice, then you would not have a problem of falling sick. So my advice to you is please get a driver. No matter how experienced you are driving overseas, I don't think most of you can drive in Nigeria. I can assure you that. I don't think most of you can drive in Nigeria if you come to visit, because driving in Nigeria is a different thing. You need to get lessons in Nigeria to be able to drive in Nigeria, and that is why Nigerians can drive in every part of the world. Because if you could survive driving in a Nigerian road, you can drive in every part of the world. And then the last question she said is, I'm flying to Lagos and then travel to Ado Ekiti. He lives there alone. His mom lives in Elisha. Not much family left. How do I find a good hotel? Not being in a big city. Any other advice for somebody who has not a weak but sensitive body and digestion? So For this question, as regards getting hotel in Ado-Ekiti, this you need to arrange with your partner. But I would always advise, please, if you're traveling to the place your partner stays, and he stays with the family, please stay in the same home with the family. Staying there for 2 or 3 days would not do any harm to you physically, because it's opportunity for you to bond with them, to get to know them properly, to interact with them, and also it's also an advantage for you because if they grow fond of you, they would always push their son to make the right decision towards you. Again, I would always ask, please, if you are visiting Nigeria, try to always make sure you're stopping around Lagos or Abuja. These are places we have our two huge international uh, airports. And if you want to travel to any of the 36 states, try to make sure that, especially for a first time traveler, try to make sure that you have somebody who knows the terrain, who knows the road to go with you. Try to make sure that is the case. So, if your partner knows you're coming, you could have him come to Lagos or Abuja and then travel with you. If you want to surprise him, please, you could try to see if you could contact somebody in Nigeria or a friend of yours who is Nigerian, and then both of you could make this trip together. Even myself speaking, I've never been to Ado Ekiti before. I've only passed it, traveling to another state. I've never been there. I've only passed it traveling to another state. So I wouldn't even want to go there alone, except maybe there's something very important. But if I was to go to visit someone, if the person is not going with me, I ain't going. So, not saying it's a dangerous place. No, it's not a dangerous place. It's a very, very old town in Nigeria. So yeah, please, stay in the accommodation of your partner, and you will be fine. Okay, and then enjoy all the adventure. Very important. Try new things, eat the food, and you do very well. Another question is this: my situation is that I'm older than my Nigerian guy. We're 29 years, and I plan visiting him this Xmas. Do you think his family would reject me? Well, I would advise you to still make that trip if you want to. Not for anything, but for the idea of one, getting to meet him and his family. And I can assure you that the family would not reject you for coming to their home. We are not like that. They would open their door for you, they would welcome you, they would treat you well with respect, courtesy, they will feed you. That is part of our tradition. We're very, very hospitable. That's how we are and accepting. However, it's important to understand that if this guy will be with you depends on two things. One, if the family is doing okay financially, they would tell this dude to do away with you because you're this much older, and that's the truth. But if it's from a very poor family, they would support his idea of wanting to get married to you so he could get his papers and then move to your country. They would support this idea, and they would play along with the script. So the truth of the fact is, go there, please enjoy your stay, enjoy your visit. I have a very good friend who is a subscriber on this channel, and she would tell me, now I am this young, I have to make the trip to Nigeria because the more I get older, the harder it is. So visit, go to Africa, go to Nigeria, and then meet this guy you've been talking with, get this experience. Perhaps you might be lucky, who knows? And the last question I want to talk for today is, no day goes by without him asking me for money. Do you think he truly loves me, or are situations truly bad? So everybody who is living on the surface of the earth would agree that we are facing global inflation. Cost of things are unbearable. This is also true in Nigeria, but this does not mean that you should be some kind of financial institution because you're in love. I've always said this: if you are dating a Nigerian man who is constantly asking you for money, it's simple. He doesn't love you. You don't need to have sleepless night about it. He just clearly doesn't love you. He's just trying to see how much he can milk out of from you. So that is what he's basically doing. So at this point, you know he's asking you for money each day, you've got three options. I always say to people: one, the first option is you can play the game with him by wasting his time. You keep promising him, he keeps anticipating something good coming from you till he gets frustrated. Two, if you don't want to go into much drama, you could just block him. And then three, you can start yourself asking him for financial assistance. You can start asking him for financial support. You can call him and say, please, I need your help, financial support. Make sure you ask him this every day to the point he gets tired and then he blocks you. And then you know that, okay, you're totally with a scammer. There's no need, having sleepless night about it. The moment he's asking you for money frequently, he doesn't love you. He's a scammer. So, guys, if you want to reach me, you've got questions, you can always write me on hometruth86 at gmail.com. So, with that, I would like to say thank you for watching, and we would see ourselves hopefully during the weekend. Home Truth Nigeria, peace out.